The Black Stars and the pursuit of destiny, a nation that refuses to stop dreaming. Welcome to Ballafrica, the place where African football is more than scores, trophies, and statistics. It's history, its identity, its pain, its pride. And today we tell the story of one of Africa's most iconic football nations. A nation whose footballing heartbeat has echoed across generations. A nation that has thrilled the world, inspired a continent, and broken hearts in ways few teams ever have. Today, we talk about Ghana, the Black Stars of Ghana. And as the 2026 FIFA World Cup begins this week actually, Ghana returns once again to Africa's greatest stage, to the world's greatest stage, carrying with them the hopes of millions across Africa and the diaspora. Now let's talk about the birth of a football powerhouse. Long before many African nations became household names in football, Ghana was already blazing a trail. Football in Ghana is not simply a sport. It's woven in the fabric of the nation, from the dusty fields of Kumasi to the streets of Accra. Football has always been a language spoken by everyone. A few countries on the continent can match Ghana's football pedigree. The Black Stars have won the African Cup of Nations 4 times and have produced generations of stars who carried African football onto the global stage. Names such as Abedi Pele, Tony Yeboah, Michael Essien, Stephen Appiah, Asamoah Gyan, and Andre Ayew became symbols of African excellence. But perhaps Ghana's greatest contribution to football was proving that an African team could dream beyond participation. Ghana dreamt of competing, of winning, of belonging among the world's elite. And eventually, they showed the world exactly what they looked like. There was a golden generation that arrived. In the early 2000s, something special was happening. A remarkable generation was emerging. Michael Essien was dominating midfields in Europe, Chelsea, for example. Suleiman Montari was becoming one of Africa's most feared players, International Milan, for example. Stephen was leading with passion, and then there was Asamoah Gyan, the all-time African record scorer at the World Cup, a striker whose name would become forever linked with Ghanaian football. Together, they formed a team capable of challenging anyone. Their first World Cup appearance came in Germany in 2006. Many expected them to simply enjoy the experience. Instead, they stunned the world. Ghana advanced from a group containing the Czech Republic, Italy, and the United States of America. The Black Stars had arrived. The Black Stars had arrived. Africa had a giant. Then came South Africa 2010, the dream that shocked the world. If there is one chapter that defines Ghanaian football, it is 2010. The World Cup was being hosted on African soil for the first time. The continent was united. The atmosphere was electric. And Ghana became Africa's standard flag bearer. Match after match, they carried the hopes of an entire continent. They fought. They believed. They inspired. They reached the quarterfinals. No African nation had ever reached a quarterfinal cup, a semifinal. No African nation had ever reached a World Cup semifinal. History stood only one game away. Then came Uruguay, a match that would become one of the most dramatic games in football history. The score was tied. The clock was ticking towards the final whistle of extra time. Then Ghana had its moment. A header was destined for the net. History was seconds away, but Uruguay's controversial Luis Suarez deliberately handled the ball on the goal line and was sent off. Ghana received the penalty with virtually the last kick of extra time. The entire continent held its breath. Millions watched, millions prayed, millions believed Asamoah Gyan stepped forward, the man of the hour. One kick, one moment, one chance to send Africa into the semifinals of the World Cup for the first time. The shot stroked the crossbar. The dream slipped away. Uruguay eventually advanced on penalties. To this day, Many consider it as the most heartbreaking moment in African football history. But it was also one of the proudest moments in African football history because Ghana had showed the world that African football belonged among the very best. Then came the trials, the tribulations, and the falls. Football is never a straight road. After the highs came the challenges. Brazil in 2014 became a tournament remembered for internal disputes, off-the-field drama, and disappointment. The Black Stars exited in the group stages. Years later, Ghana would miss qualification for 2018 World Cup entirely. Questions emerged. Had the magic faded? Was Ghana's gold era over? Then came another painful chapter. In the late 2024, Ghana failed to qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time in more than 2 decades. The disappointment was enormous, and confidence in the national team hit a low point. For many supporters, it felt unthinkable. How could one of Africa's football giants miss Africa's biggest tournament? Criticism poured in. Doubt spread. Many believed Ghana was entering a period of decline. But football has a funny way of rewarding silence. The road back to the World Cup. When the pressure was greatest, Ghana responded. The Black Stars produced an outstanding qualification campaign. They topped Group 1 and secured their place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, starting this week in North America, USA, Canada, and Mexico. The qualification was more than just a sporting achievement. It was redemption. It was a proof that Ghana still mattered. Proof that Black Stars were not finished. Proof that greatness can return even after the darkest moments. Across social media and football communities, many supporters expressed surprise at how dramatically Ghana had turned things around after a difficult period. Then there is the birth of a new generation. Every era in African football needs new heroes. Today's Ghana may not have Michael Essien or Asamoah Gyan, but they possess exciting talent. Players like Antoine Semenyo, Inaki Williams, Jordan Ayew, Thomas Partey, Kamaldeen Sulemana, and a new wave of emerging stars represent the future. Unfortunately, injuries have deprived Ghana of one of its key names heading into the tournament, including Mohamed Kudus. Yet, adversity has always been part of Ghana's football story. And sometimes, adversity creates heroes. Perhaps, somewhere in this squad is a power waiting for its moment. A player waiting to become the next Ghanaian legend. The group of opportunity and challenge at the FIFA World Cup for Ghana. Ghana enters a group alongside England, Croatia, and Panama. This is not an easy group. England arrives with immense talent. Croatia possesses tournament experience and pedigree. Panama will fight for every inch, but Ghana has never feared difficult opponents. In fact, some of their greatest performances have come when expectations were lowest. This group presents both danger, but yet opportunity. Defeat England, the world takes notice. Beat Panama, qualification becomes realistic. Find a result against Croatia, the knockout rounds come into view. This group does not guarantee success, but it absolutely offers possibility, and football history is written by teams willing to embrace possibilities and create opportunities. What should we expect? Let's be realistic. Ghana are not amongst the tournament's favorites, but neither were they in 2010. Nobody expected them to carry Africa onto the quarterfinals. Nobody expected them to stand one kick away from the semifinals. Yet they did. This current team has talent, it has experience, it has athleticism, and most importantly, it carries the memory of generations who came before. Their expectations should be simple. Compete fearlessly, advance from group if possible, and remind the world what Ghanaian football represents. Because when Ghana is confident, organized, and united, they can trouble anyone. This brings a clear message to the Black Star, to the players wearing the Black Star next week. Remember what that star means. It's not just a badge. It's a symbol of a nation that believes, a nation that remembers, a nation that has celebrated your victories and carried your heartbreaks. Remember the pioneers. Remember Abedi Pele. Remember Essien. Remember Apia. Remember Jian. Remember those who came before you. And remember that somewhere a young boy in Accra, or Temal, or Kumasi is watching, is dreaming, is believing, is imagining himself in your place one day. You do not only carry a football, you carry a legacy. As the World Cup begins, Ghana stands once again on the global stage. 5 World Cups, decades of football excellence, moments of triumph, moments of heartbreak, moments that change African football forever. The Black Stars know what it feels like to come within inches of history. Now they have another opportunity. They have another chance. They have another dream, and perhaps, just perhaps, destiny still owes Ghana something from that night, that horrible night, that horrific night in Johannesburg. The world is watching. Africa is watching. And the Black Stars are ready to shine once again. I am easily saying, and this is Ballafrica. Until next time, keep believing in African football, because history has shown us that when Africa dreams, the world pays attention. Thanks.